If I don't love me, then who will? So, been sick, been sleeping, been doing holiday stuff, and now I'm out on this beautiful day back out on the trail. Crazy gorgeous. So, I live alone. I take care of myself. Well, that's not completely true. I have family and stuff that I love. I have a mother that I rely on, and sister and brother-in-law, essentially. But other than that, you gotta take care of yourself. If I don't love me, who will? That is a great phrase by an old Spanish philosopher in reference to just taking care of yourself, because you have to, because you can't rely on others to do it or expect others to do it. And in reality, the more you carry your own weight, the more others love you, because they feel inspired by you and don't need to, drag you along all the time. So, that said, love thyself. It's very important. Take care of everything. And that includes your health, includes your own finances, it includes your own relationships, maintaining them, building them. And, overall, it means your own happiness. It isn't up to anybody else to do these things for you. So, maintenance is required. daily maintenance. Sometimes this isn't fun. Most times it's off-putting, and so we tend to put it off. It's true. Discipline is difficult. It's something I'm struggling with in life. Not necessarily struggling with, not any more or less than anybody else. But just the reality that I can achieve anything I wanted to in this world. I have the abilities, I have the body, I have the mind, I have the resources all around me, even if it appears I don't. But the discipline required to make these things real, that's the only thing that's really missing most of the time. That daily discipline to get up, to do some sort of workout, to take care of your mind. For me, that's meditating, doing breathing practices, and doing yoga. That stuff isn't really ingrained in our society yet. It's getting there. Finally, the science is catching up to prove that all this time, for thousands of years, all the people that kept doing it and saying there was something to it weren't wrong. So, if you aren't meditating or doing yoga, as most of you are not, I'd recommend you get into something. There's a whole lot of pop stuff happening right now in mindfulness, and it's kind of a lot of garbage. So that's tough, because there's a whole lot of garbage out there. But, sitting, breathing deep, solid breaths, and just focusing on the breathing is the classic old school meditation technique that's tried and true. So I say it's a good go-to, personally. Finances, that's interesting. We live in a different time, a changing time. I'm currently in a really interesting life position where I juggle how I make money, and I like doing that. Times when I tend to focus on one singular place as my only resource, or my only source of income, it just doesn't feel right. And the more I look around me, the more I'm feeling that I'm on the right path. So this is tough, because we live in a changing world. A lot of the jobs that existed, that were solid, that were secured, that were guaranteed for a couple previous generations, are disappearing. And even the things that you assume are safe. Like, I had a friend who's a little bit older of a guy. I think he's in his 60s, or just about. I'm pretty sure he's 60. But he's been in the same company for a long time now. It's higher up. He figured there'd be security. However, the company he worked for, they sold their company to another person, or another company. And then that company was able to fire him without breaking any prior contracts. So it was a way of them being able to get out of paying off any of their employees that had been there for a long time, any of their severance or retirement. Stuff like that. This shady, horrible stuff where you can give your life to a company under the promise that they're going to take care of you, but they don't. They don't. And if you're somewhere where it is solid and secure, God bless you. And you're lucky. But a lot of us got to be a little more weary. We got to go back to, I think, the way things used to be for humans, as in a diversified income of resources. You know, I heard referenced a while ago the idea that your great-great-grandparents most likely had to do multiple things to survive. They invested their time into many efforts, whether it be farming, you know, raising cows, chickens, getting the milk, getting the eggs, getting the meat, you know, maybe sheep, have to get their own clothes, trading in town for other things. Maybe they were blacksmithing, doing all sorts of stuff. It's very interesting, very self-reliant times. And, you know, I think we might be there again, or getting there quickly as a race. But that said, in a new digital way, which is bizarre. I mean, there's people out there blacksmithing, but let's face it, that's not really in demand like it used to be. What's more realistic is like internet marketing, e-commerce. These types of terms that never existed are now an intelligent source of income. So we live in a strange, interesting, crazy, I'd say exciting time for finances. You got to be bold, definitely, because once again, that security isn't there. But that leaves you back open to being a creative individual and being able to make a niche for yourself in this world with your own individual skills. So that's interesting. That's an interesting balance. Oh, going up a hill, we got a down tree. Oh, gotta love it. Come on, Charlie, you can have it. There we go. He did it. He's a good boy. And yeah, back to some other stuff, relationships. You gotta take care of yourself in relationships. Now, this is fascinating. I heard a statement that really, really hit me. This is from a book called Social. I actually know that, I think it's Matthew Lieberman is the author. But this book, you know, makes the statement that almost everything we do is related to social aspects, our connection with other people. And in it, he states that if you think about it, a lot of your life discontent is the result of things not working out with other people. Think about that for a minute. A lot of your discontents are related to things not working out, business-wise, relationship-wise, friend-wise, employment-wise. These are all based around your interactions with the people that you connect to. So this is a big one. You know, who you spend your time with, how you spend your time with them. These are really important things that I don't think a lot of us think about as much as we should, you know. It's a fascinating one. We gather things from each other more than what we realize on subtle levels. So if you're spending time with people that aren't that healthy, that aren't that creative, that aren't that prosperous, it's a good chance you're going to be unhealthy, uncreative, and unprosperous. It's pretty crazy. And that this is going to cause you discontent. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. So how do you help yourself when it comes to selecting the people you choose to be around? This is difficult because we all tend to be attracted to people that have traits that we identify as not in ourselves, you know, as an opposites attract. We think that because somebody has all these traits that we don't carry, that they somehow know something we don't. We're naturally drawn to it, only to find out that at best they're just an ordinary person, and then oftentimes, possibly, they're kind of a fraud. You know, a lot of people are fake on the surface, and then when you get to know them, they're not maybe who you thought they would be or who they appear to be. So how do you line up with good people? Well, you gotta not just trust your instinct, but you need to trust your mind too. You know, your gut's a good go-to, but you gotta follow your intelligence. You gotta look at the obvious clues. You know, this is still difficult. I mean, I dated a girl that I had pet named Red Flag because there were so many red flags going off when we dated. I just thought of her as that. And I went with it anyway. You know what I mean? I still gave it 6 months. I was like, hell with it. It's fun. So, you know, it's easy to say. It's not necessarily easy to do. Some things in life are simple but easy, you know. Getting healthy, the idea is pretty simple. You get in a good diet, you exercise. The execution, a little more difficult. So I suppose that rounds it all back to the beginning where I was talking about discipline, the daily discipline to pursue these things on a higher level, or on the level that you feel is justified for you. You know, are you healthy like you want to be? Is your mind and body, notice I include mind too, are your mind and body healthy in a state that you want them to be in? Do you walk around with anger, discontent, prejudice, judgmental thoughts all day? Because I tell you right now, if you're judging other people all day, you're not happy. You might not be aware of it because you're so used to that state of mind. But if all you can do is spend your thoughts on analyzing, judging other people, you're wasting your own mind, and you're missing out on all your own opportunities because you're so focused on what everybody else is doing. So, not to get deep into that, but just be aware. Is your mind happy? Is your body happy? And if not, are you doing things to correct that? Are your finances happy? That's a tough one. And are you putting in the self-education, the self-discipline to learn the skills that you need to do the things that you want to do? This world is really interesting in the idea that we live in a modern jungle that is willing to pay you according to the degree of difficulty of problems that you solve. So if you're not really solving any difficult problems, you're not really going to be getting too much from the earth. Of course there's a lucky few, but most of us, you got to be able to solve some good problems if you want to get some good pay, regardless of what it is. And same, relationships. Be aware, be alert, enforce the discipline. Because you can waste 6 months and then end up unhappy for maybe 2 or 3 after that when things didn't work out, even though you saw it coming. So there's 9 months of time wasted that, sure, it was fun, you learn experience, but there's a point of diminishing return on that type of thing, as in I've had fun, I've had learning experiences, and I only have so much time. That's a resource that's ever fleeting. I don't get that back. So you gotta be intelligent, gotta be aware. All right, well, this has been amazing. Going on a walk. I've been pent up in my house. As I said, I was sick on and off for like a month. That was terrible. Just sleeping, watching movies, reading, playing the guitar, jamming. And I know Mr. Charlie Bones is happy to be out here in this beautiful sunny morning. It's actually morning too. Got up early and saw it was going to be nice, so I figured why not hit it while it's good. And don't forget to love yourself, because if you don't love you, who else will? All right. Peace out, y'all.